Today we are in the Masters of Craft series, which is, we've done a lot about speaking to leaders and bosses and people who own businesses and that kind of thing. So this Masters of the Craft is about people who are absolutely smashing it, working for someone in their line of work, whether that be mortgage or insurance. So today we have Brad Rathbone from Bespoke Financial. How's it going, Brad?
I'm okay, mate. How are you?
Yeah, really good, thank you. Really good. Now, Brad's story is special because, I mean, obviously I will let him do all the talking, but it's really good in the sense that he wasn't in financial services. He's learning it quickly, and he has become at the top of his game in a very short space of time. So if I can hand it over to you, Brad, and if you could just tell us about your journey so far and what you've been up to and that kind of thing, if that's okay.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Firstly, thanks for having me on, Marcus. It's a pleasure to be on here, mate. So thank you for that, pal. But yeah, just going back. Obviously, like you mentioned, I'll go back to like school time. Like, obviously, came through school, got good grades, went to college, did well in college. Looking back on it, I did sports science in college, believe it or not. I don't know why. To this day, I still don't know why I did it. Went to uni, literally dropped out within a month. Well, literally wasn't for me. And kind of got stuck when I look back on it, like stuck, but I always say like stuck in a rut. Didn't really know what I wanted to do, didn't know what was coming next. Luckily at the time when I was going through college and uni, I was working in as the warehouse, just like kind of like e-commerce, like home shopping it was called. So I went there for 3 years, 4 years it might have been, sorry. Just kind of like ticked over, just got a monthly wage coming every month and did what I needed to do in terms of paying the bills that I had to pay. And obviously this opportunity came up with Bespoke through a guy at the time called Nathan Steele. He was now the leader of the Bespoke Financial Health team. I knew Nate for a couple of years, just as a family friend, and obviously he was launching his business, and he mentioned the opportunity that I had there in terms of coming in, being called what's called an influencer, which is where you come in and kind of like pass business through to advisors who then convert the leads, and then as an influencer I would get paid. So that's kind of how it started, and after Bespoke, mate, that's where the opportunity came, and that's how we jumped at it. Yeah.
So you obviously you were still working in the warehouse when they came along and said jump in, get involved. What made you make the jump? What made you think that's for me?
You know what? There's a couple of reasons. There's one, when I was influencing, Nate said to me, "Oh, you need to come into the offices." Lee wants to meet you. You need to come and see a few people. And I walked into the office. I remember walking. Obviously, at this time, the only thing I'd seen was the warehouse, and I'd walked into the office block that we have. I remember just everyone was like super nice, and like I'm from like a sporty background, so like when I walked in, like the lads that were there, it kind of reminded me of being in like football change rooms, which is like perfect for me. It's like I love that. But everyone was super nice when I walked in. Everyone introduced themselves. Everyone went out the way to make me feel welcome. And then another one was obviously, to be fair, I'm not money driven, me, Marcus. I'm not a massive, like, obviously everyone works for money. Like obviously I'm like partially money driven, but not massively. But obviously as I was earning like £700-800 a month max. When I got like my first wages, like an influencer, which is only like the base, like the start of it, like pretty much like trebled.
That's like a call qualifier type thing.
Yeah, like literally just introducing business to the advisors that we have here. And like that the wage that I got as an influencer, which I was only doing like literally half an hour a day, maybe max, it like trebled it as the wage, and I looked at it and I thought, oh, wow, like this jump's got to be something else.
You get a bit of money.
Yeah.
So how long ago was that?
So that I started as an influencer in July 2019, so 3 years ago to this month.
And I know you're quite humble, so I'm going to try and word it properly, but tell me about where you've got to now.
So after that, obviously I did a couple of months of influencing, then like I mentioned earlier, I wanted the conversation, and started my training to be an advisor in the September, qualified, and I left ASDA in December, just before Christmas, before the mad rush of Christmas. It wasn't retail. Left and had a bit of time off and started full time in January. So January 2020, I started full time. Probably started the worst time for a self-employed person because then COVID kicked off. So I literally had like 2 months at full time, and like kind of couldn't work stop for a couple of months with COVID. But I think that part there made it a little bit sweeter in terms of where I've gone to, because obviously for 2 months and maybe didn't have an income, but kind of not where I wanted it to be. Do you know what I mean? And not many people know this, but I nearly, like, as they offered me my job back, I nearly took it. I nearly did take it because I panicked. Like, I panicked a little bit, and I thought, like, I don't know what's going on here.
It's that
like,
darkest before the dawn, isn't it? It's that darkest before the dawn. You just think, it's the valley of despair, I think they call it. Just before you get good at something, there's a rock bottom, isn't there, where you just, like you say, if Asda are going to ask you back, and you think, yes, that's another grand, you know, you're getting it and that kind of thing. But so where are you now? I'm going to keep asking the same question until you answer it. So where are you now in regards to kind of leaderboards and in the country, that kind of thing? How are you? Where do you sit in that kind of ranking?
Yeah, so now we have our annual awards of Primus, which is called the Boxing. So in February, just gone, I was crowned #1 advisor within Primus, #1 protection advisor, and obviously Primus is the #1 network within the full country as well, which makes me #1 in there. #1 protection advisor in the whole of the UK, mate.
And that's within 2 years. And just to clarify to people that listen to it, who think it's a struggle. You started off self-employed, you weren't given any leads, and within 2 years you're the top life insurance person. So I suppose the obvious question is, what's the secret? What's the magic source that I speak to life insurance advisors who've been doing it for 10 years and haven't had your success? What's the difference?
Everyone asks me this question, you know, like I get people ringing me from all over the country asking me the same question, and I always say to them, there's no secret really, because when I come in, I feel like I'm not doing anything out of the extraordinary. Like I'm literally just stick to the basics. Like everything that I do it's all basic. Like I work hard. Like one of the things that obviously when I started, I was self-employed, which is something I've never been, so I kind of have to be. I'm quite regimented in terms of what I do. Like I'm in the same time every day. I leave like a similar time every day. Like I know I've got to go and I'll do a bit of work. So I work hard. Like I do work hard. There's obviously you can't do that.
Well, you know, sorry to interrupt, but I think that's really important, because you're doing really well, and you still come in the same day. You still regiment your calls. You still do everything exactly the same as you're doing, because I think it's too easy for people to slip in and go, oh, that was easy. I had a good year.
100%. It was like, it's so easy. Even now, every Saturday morning, like I'll go in the office every Saturday morning, 9 o'clock. I know I'm only in there for like 2 or 3 hours, but I'll go in and do like my phone calls, which sets me for a week. So like Monday, Tuesday, I was always rampacked because I'll do my phone calls on my Saturday. But like even now, like sometimes I'm getting in and I think, I don't need to do this. But then like I'll still go in and do it, get it done, and then
that's the difference. That's the difference between being top, is that you still do Saturday morning. If I doing what you're doing, I'm not sure I'd be that keen on rolling out of bed on a Saturday. You know what I mean? But that's what separates you from the So although you think you're not doing anything different, I'd be interested to see, not just, it's easy when it's the first couple of months, but being as successful as you've been, I think is a very different kettle of fish when people have to still get up on a Saturday and make sure they fill their diary for Monday, because a lot of people won't do it. Yeah,
definitely, 100%, mate.
So what do you think? What's the most important thing to you in your sales process? I know you say it's not different, but it must be. Do you know what I mean? There must be. So how did you get your leads, for instance? Because you've done it all yourself. You've done it off your own back. So how did that start, and how did that grow to the level you are now?
So when I mentioned that I came as an influencer, obviously I built all my business is built up off literally 2 things, which is influencers, which is where I've just gone out. All these influencers are clients as well. So when I speak to a client and I think I've got a little bit about them and they're a little bit salesy or they're quite knowledgeable, then I'll mention it and I'll just say, like, listen, we've got a little opportunity where you can earn a bit of income on the side. Would you like to know a little bit more about it? Then we have a recruitment call on a Thursday night where everyone jumps on, listens to what we can do, and as soon as you hear like the stories that the people that we work with, then it's kind of a no-brainer for them. And obviously we have to pay them quite well. We do pay them well, do you know what I mean? They do get well paid, so that's another thing. And obviously I don't really do it as much now, but when I started it was sports teams, which is going into teams around the area on a Saturday morning or midweek when they've got midweek games or training sessions, going and just talking about like the cover that we can offer them in terms of the income protections and the fracture covers, etc. And then from that, mate, you very rarely do just one fracture cover. They've always got like mortgages or they've got kids. So it kind of just stems from them. You build relationships from that.
Some people won't want to, because it's not the most fun thing in the world, stand in front of a sports team. You're selling insurance. You know what I mean? Going into a changing room of lads and doing it. That's the level up stuff, though, isn't it? That's the being prepared to be uncomfortable.
But it's, mate, honestly, I like, even now, if I do, like, I'll do one every now and then now, and even now I still don't hate it, because like when you do it and you get back in your car, you feel mint. But when you're driving to it and like you stood in front of the lads, like when I walk in the change room, now I know most of the lads anyway. But like even then, still my heart's going like this. And then I remember once my first ever team talk I did, I travelled, it was about half an hour away. Travelled, got there. Obviously, I was nervous all the way there. I was thinking on the all the way there, I was like praying for rain, like thinking, please rain till this game gets called off. And I remember walking through the doors and all I could hear was like proper boom, boom, like loud music, and I thought, and I walked in and all the lads just stood there like jumping about, dancing. I thought, God, what chance have I got here?
Talking about life insurance.
Yeah, but like, I walked in and some lad had like a big massive pot on his arm, and I said, what have you done? He said, oh, I broke my arm. I said, before perfect, yeah, and then went on and did it, and like, I did well out of it. Got back in my car. 2 minutes later, it's my Saturday done. It was the rest of my week busy.
Yeah,
so it's a no-brainer to do it.
Exactly. Fills up your diary in one sports team, and obviously. So talk to me about your referral system, because I know you guys smash referrals, don't you? So you're heavy on it. So how do you go about that? Because some people say we do referrals because it's on the bottom of our email. I spoke to someone the other day, said, oh yeah, we asked for referrals, it's on our email. I said, who reads your emails? But how do you actually go out and win that bit?
Oh, mate, like literally, I got trained, like it's a ruthless way of doing it, but I think it's the best way of doing it. Like when I do my fact find and set my requirements, I'll say to the client, right, I'm going to go off the phone now and do what I need to do in terms of getting quotes together, doing underwriting. Can I ask a massive favour of you? While I'll go away and do this, like if you've got 5 minutes, can you just write down, I'll say 5 people's names. So can you just write down 5 people's names? People like, you know, for mortgages, for kids, friends, family, anyone that you know who think it could benefit off me. Obviously, once you've done that, I'll get them back. I'll get them off you when I ring back. And literally, Darren Wilson said to me, if you ring back and they haven't got them, just put the phone down. But sometimes, yeah. But sometimes you'll ring them and like, yeah, do you know what? I put 10 down here. I'll pay them over now. Or they'll ring back and say, actually, I've only got 2. That's fine. Like, and somebody you ring back and somebody be like, do you know what? I forgot. Like, I don't really want to do it. That's fine as well. Like, I've asked you, but then that's when, like, I've got like when I mentioned the influencer side of things as well. That's a completely different like look at the referral business, because you are getting referrals from introducers. Do you know what I mean? So let's just say that one there that said they don't want to do it. That's fine. But we've got this opportunity as like an influencer where you come in and be part of the team and you earn cash and you be part of the company, you have training sessions.
Yeah, we do.
And he's like, yeah, we'll do that. And then next thing you know, they're passing 5, 6, 7 leads in, which would have been on that list anyway. So you're getting them anyway. It's just different. It's a completely different way of getting referrals.
Yeah, but that's the whole way. You never bought a lead in your life, have you? That's just always works
exactly.
with that.
Yeah.
In regards to, I know I've got to rush you. I know you're already busy, so and I cocked up with me, so I'll try and speed through things. But this is going to be really interesting, especially, I mean, for new people, but also for just people that are underperforming, because there's loads of people like that. And if you can take an honest look at yourself and say, am I the best at what I'm doing at the moment? And if they're not, and even those little tips, like you said, your work ethic is phenomenal. That's where you are. But in regards to kind of tips and that kind of thing, any tips that you can give to new people that are coming into protection or mortgages? It's the same kettle of fish, or anyone who's not performing to their potential. Any kind of tips that can help drive them that they can do sort of day one?
100%, mate. Yeah, there's so many I could give you. We've already touched on a couple of them. So doing contact clubs. So many people I know, like when I speak to them, don't do contact clubs. Like I don't get how people are getting leads.
People that don't know your business.
So like when I mentioned there, so everyone that gets a referral or everyone that comes in as a lead, obviously during the week everyone will have cancellations. Everyone has people that ring that don't answer or whatever. Gets to a Saturday morning, I have a list of the names where I'll just go back through my diary, or I have a list of the names where I'll just literally on Saturday morning sit on the phone for an hour and a half, blast through them names, fill my diary up. That is me done on a Saturday. That is literally a contact club. It's so simple. Just get in, ring the numbers. You get 50% no answers, but you've still tried. That is honestly the amount of people I must speak to. If I speak to 100 people, mate, in this industry, 10% of the people only do contact clubs. Unbelievable.
So, that's crazy, isn't it? You'll be surprised how many people I speak to, even mortgage brokers, where they've got a list of people that they should have sold life insurance to or other sorts of protection, and they just never contacted them again, or they've gone onto an email marketing campaign or something like that. And it, like you say, that's an hour and a half out of your day. Feels like you're dying for the week.
Yeah, it's mental. It's mental. And I always say, me, like, if I don't work on a Saturday morning, Mark, it's like I'm a type of person, I feel guilty. So if I do it on a Saturday morning, then I can go away and enjoy my weekend. Like,
you should feel guilty, should you? Because you are at that level. We won't talk finances, but you do well. You know what I mean? That's but that is because of that work ethic. Again, because like you say, you're using the same process as everyone else, I'm assuming. It's not like you're selling a different product to anyone else.
Exactly.
Work ethic, regimented, planning your day out, it's all the things. And it's all, to be fair, I mean, we'll talk about this actually, because this is quite, I know you talked about Nathan and Lee, obviously, and mentorship is a big thing. You've been very blessed, actually. I sat in one of your sales meetings once, and I think I said, like, if you've never been in another financial services company, I don't think the guys there know how lucky they are to have people like Nathan and Lee around, because they're at the top of their game when it comes to mentoring people, and they're at the top I think maybe if you're at Bespoke and it's your first job, you're like, oh, this is what everyone does. Like your sales meetings are through the roof. I love them. I could sit in them a week. But talk to me about that, about the kind of the importance of mentorship, and going on from that, what you're doing next is your kind of to becoming a mentor.
So that's so important. Like you mentioned there, people don't realise how lucky they actually are to come into work and be surrounded with Lee, and then obviously Nathan. We've got Darren. This company's rammed with people that you could go and sit with for 10 minutes and learn something from them. So we're massively on that side of things. Like you mentioned, they constantly want to develop you as well. Do you know what I mean? They don't. If you ring them and say, "Have you got 5 minutes?" and never say, "No, I'm busy." Like it's always like, "Yeah, I've got 10 minutes. Like let's go and get a coffee." So everyone wants to help you here. Also, we have different parts as well. Obviously, we have Richard Coulson, who's like the owner, like head director of Primus. He will put my mentoring sessions on for us if he wants. Like I've done a few with him. And then obviously, as part of the company, we have a trainee. It's like a guy called Sean, performance director. Sorry, called Sean, which he's like a performance director for the professional boxer Savannah Marshall as well. So we like Sean can literally I can text Sean now and say can I have half an hour, and he put it in the diary and we'll have half an hour and he goes through. And sometimes it's good. Like I'm one of them. Where if I don't have one for 3 months, I can tell, because I start to go like lose, like just like get a bit demotivated, if that makes sense. So I sit down with him and he'll get my wheels back in line. And
that's not just important to guys like yourself who are working for someone or working for yourself. I think it's really important for business owners to remember that you can't just plug someone in and play them and wonder why they're not performing again in 12 months time. It's continual development in it, and Bespoke do that brilliantly. That's why you're where you are again. It's just because the training's non-stop, the development's non-stop. Everyone is happy to work with you. Like you said, and I believe you're building a team now, aren't you? Under you, that's part of your process.
Yeah, that's the next step for us all. I think at Bespoke, like we've got the opportunity to build a team of our own, come in, bring people and recruit them, and kind of take them down the path that I've been on. And like you mentioned, there's a lot of people can take me now in terms of I've probably seen everything in the game, like in such a short space of time in terms of sales and claims and the bad part. I've seen the worst part of the job, and I've seen the best part of the job. So literally anyone that obviously the people I'm bringing in are going to learn a lot. They're going to learn a lot, and obviously it's financially wise, it's a great career being as well for people as well.
And so let's kind of promote that a bit for you if people are listening and they do want to chat with you. So you're taking people on at the moment. So you're happy to speak to people who want to kind of come under your wing and learn from you, like the way you did with Nathan and Lee. How do they get in touch with
you? Anywhere. Also, if I send you my email over and my phone number, Mark, is it okay to shut that on the?
Yeah, absolutely. On everything as well.
I'm a completely open book. You put my number on there, my email, my LinkedIn. Message me on anything at all. Give me a ring. And we can have a chat about it.
Yeah. And do you think it is a culture thing where you, because of what Lee and Nathan produced there and Darren and those guys, and that, or do you think it's a kind of a law of attraction thing? Did they make you, or did they attract you because you're of the same ilk of them?
Oh, man, that is a good question. I think a bit of both. Like I think obviously culture is massive. Like we develop, like everyone that comes through is developing to become like unbelievable. Like there's another guy, you might have heard of Aaron Burns, who's been he's been in the industry like a year now, going down the exact same path as myself. And he so I think I'm going to put it down to culture, mate. Yeah, I'm going to put it down to culture. Everyone that comes in, the training that we get, the standards that are set, the values of the company, it only leads to one thing, which is producing good advisors.
Yeah, good. That all makes sense. So, any other tips? Let's go. I'll let you go. I appreciate people coming in. You've got meetings and stuff. So, if you could give one thing away to someone now that would help them, what would it be?
Oh, there's so many things. Like I couldn't pick one out, but I'm gonna say a couple in one. So I'm gonna say, so be yourself, be regimented. Which by that I mean set a standard. So you're in at every time, like at the same time every day. You'll have to leave the office, or you leave at a certain time of the night. Do your phone calls, get your referrals, and do the best possible job for your clients, and then it all comes from there. Word of mouth comes from there.
I think like the do a good job thing goes without saying, because you're clearly doing a good job. Obviously, you get the referrals you do, you're making the amount of deals that you do. Then I know you didn't say the word, but like you just said, your regimented side of things is consistency. something that we used to think was quite boring is actually a game changer in business, isn't it? If you're
100%.
consistent like you're doing,
Yeah.
that'll make sense, mate. I really appreciate your time. Right, like I said, I know you're on a schedule, but I'm going to put Brad's contact details onto the webinar and also onto the podcast. So if anyone does want to get in contact with Bespoke about any of these roles they've got kind of particularly working under Brad, I think that'll be a really interesting time for you. But I really appreciate your time, mate. I will pass any of these details on from people that ask it, and we'll take it from there. But thanks very much for your time today, Brad. I appreciate it.
No, thank you, mate. I appreciate having me on. Thank you, pal.
Cheers, mate.
Bye, mate.